Episode 1 opens with a poetry writing activity for the elderly in the present day. Here we meet 70-year-old Aisun, who remembers her mother, leading us to the past. Her mother was a Nidharhenyo, a female seafarer, who lost her husband in their bed and remarried. A very tall Manjashil was so tall Manjashil because they are wealthy and can afford her education. However, she constantly asks her mother to let her stay with her because her patriarchal family mistreats her. Despite winning second place in the poetry writing competition, her mother is busy with work and nurturing her own family, thus failing to see her achievement. Unwillingly, Aisun has to return to her uncle's house and do the household chores. Meanwhile, her mother finally reads her poetry, where Aisun promises to give her 101 every day in the future. The heartfelt words finally break down her mother's emotional barrier. Upset by the mistreatment Aisun endured, her mother enters the house, creates a fuss, gives her a lot of fish, and takes Aisun home with her. As soon as they live together, Aisun becomes worried about the class president not being appointed. This position was given to the son of an influential person even though he won the election. Because of this, his mother goes to school and tells the teacher, a very tall Manjashil, was soon to behave better. Upon returning home, his mother throws away all the cigarettes kept in the house. This is because Aisun had promised him that she would buy him a pearl necklace in the future, so she wants him to live a long life. The year is 1961, and Aisun's dreams are soon shattered when her mother falls ill due to working in the heavy rain. While Aisun's mother's position is destroyed by death, she has a peaceful but stable presence in her life. A boy quietly cares for her and brings her food. One evening, Aisun's mother cooks abalone for him and orders him not to become a maid for his stepfather's family after her death. Instead, she urges him to return to his uncle's house and beg to stay there. Soon his mother passes away, but Gwansik stays with Aisun. After his mother's death, Aisun's stepfather urges him to stay and help her. One day she sees her small plot of land, and with the help of Gwansik and local women, she turns it into a cabbage field. Gwansik continues to take care of Aisun. When they work together, he brings her food. Time passes, and Aisun finally decides to leave, feeling that she cannot study while working at home. However, his stepfather urges him to sell the main land, to study Korean literature and live there. Aisun starts selling cabbage in the market. She has a book in her hand, although in reality, Gwansik sells most of it for her. As time passes, Gwansik's grandmother arrives and drives Aisun away. She wants to stop their marriage, especially because the neighborhood women tease them as a couple. Running away, a very tall Aisun thanks her for the idea of marrying Gwansik, and the episode ends. After running away from Aisun because of his grandmother, Gwansik immediately starts running away. Both walk together. Then we find out that Gwansik's parents had run away before marriage. This makes it clear why his grandmother is so strict about seeing him and Aisun together. As they walk, our Veriton constantly stresses that she will never marry Gwansik. Finally, Gwansik, perhaps disappointed by her teasing, tries to kiss her but gets hurt. Then we realize that Aisun also likes him just when he turns around and accepts his feelings. After this, there is a lovely strange kiss, after which they keep walking quietly. In the future, we see a grown-up Aisun with her children, and find out that her daughter was telling the whole story. In the past, when Aisun returns home, she finds that her stepbrother is also there. Later, at night she listens to them talking, in which her stepmother refuses to raise the woman named Minok's child with Aisun's father, because there is nowhere else to go, and Aisun reaches her uncle's house, where she tries to convince him to work in a workshop instead of going to college, referring to the family's problems. The next day, Aisun leaves her stepbrother's house only to realize that she does not have money to give him. While she has been living in this house for all these years, she has been living in this house for a long time. While she has been living in this house for a long time, she has been living in this house for a long time. But Aisun does not want this. Her dream is always to marry someone from the mainland and leave Jeju forever. That night, determined to change her fate, both steal jewelry from their homes, pack their things, and wear clothes in the form of vests as a disguise, and wait for a ship to the mainland. The captain suspects that they may be rebels on the ship, but Aisun courageously presents them as a married couple, and no further questions arise. When they reach Busan, they try to keep their jewelry in a safe place, but the owner of the shop immediately understands that they are not who they claim to be. Later, while looking for a place to stay, they pretend to be a newly married couple who have lost their wallet, claiming that their IDs were inside. Surprisingly, the owner of a night stay pities them, lets them stay, and even gives them free food and drink. However, the next morning, when Aisun and Gwansik wake up, they find that all their belongings are missing. When they confront the owners, they pretend to be unknown, but it is clear that they knew from the start that they were both runaways. They even threaten to call the police if Aisun and Gwansik do not leave immediately. Now Aisun, trapped on the streets, breaks down. Remembering the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel, how he beat the witch, she is inspired by the story and makes a plan. That night, they see the night stay owners having a false hope in a new scary addition to their establishment. Once that woman has been confined in her room, they find a job in the market. First, they locate the shop, then the market, and finally they find the store, where the shop is located. So Aisun and Gwansik warn him not to turn off his light. The owner feels that they will not be able to rob him. The next day, they decide to take double the money from him and go to sleep. On that occasion, Aisun and Gwansik sneak in to steal their money. They almost succeed until Aisun sees the daughter of the owner wearing that hair clip that Gwansik gave her. She tries to take it back. She wakes up the family with her commotion. As soon as they run, Aisun catches them. The episode ends with Gwansik using all his strength to attack their attackers, which is a desperate attempt to save Aisun. In this episode, Aisun and Gwansik go to the police station after trying their best to steal their belongings from a gang of cheaters. There, they find out that Gwansik's mother, Busan, has come and is looking for them at various police stations. Upon meeting them, she asks for her golden frog to be returned, which is a valuable item that Gwansik took from the house. In the meantime, the woman who robbed them has their jewelry, in which the golden frog is also included. When it is time to return to the cheaters' house to retrieve their belongings, Gwansik's mother is already present there to collect her golden frog. A fight breaks out, due to which the police arrest the cheater, who turns out to be a habitual criminal. After the matter is resolved, Gwansik, Aisun and his mother return to Jeju. Upon returning home, Gwansik finds out that he has only been suspended from school, while Aisun's school has been permanently closed. When he faces Aisun's grandmother, he feels very painful. The societal perception is that when a boy runs away, he is considered brave, but when a girl does this, she is considered shameful. Now, Aisun only has her middle school diploma. In response, Gwansik announces that he will marry Aisun. The next day, Gwansik's mother meets Aisun and gently asks her not to marry him. Later, when Gwansik goes to ask for Aisun's hand in marriage from her uncle, Aisun refuses. As a result, Gwansik is arranged to marry a 31-year-old woman who is also named Aisun. Gwansik's mother, who is also Aisun's grandmother, referring to the arranged marriage candidate, says that Gwansik's grandmother has set up a blind date for Aisun, the younger one, who is looking for another wife to take care of her children, and in return he proposes to pay tuition fees for her college. This makes Aisun very sad, because she knows that her mother never wanted her to be someone's stepmother. That night when Gwansik finds out that Aisun is getting married to an old man, he angrily confronts his uncle and grandmother. Finally, he sees Aisun walking with that man and pulls him aside. Gwansik tries to convince him not to marry Aisun. He puts a ring on Anjashil, which she immediately takes off and throws into a field, telling Gwansik that he has to let her go for his own happiness because she is standing in the way of his freedom. Heartbroken, Gwansik leaves, and later Aisun finds the ring, but she doesn't retrieve it. The next day, while Aisun is sadly choosing her wedding dress, Gwansik leaves for the mainland to participate in the athletics competition. Only then is it revealed that Gwansik's mother has recognized Aisun's extraordinary playing talent. The next day, Gwansik leaves for the mainland to participate in the athletics competition. Now the two of them have become friends again. Aisun and Gwansik have had good communication for a long time. In the first month of the competition, they also talked about their marriage. All along, Aisun had lied about not marrying him so that he could fulfill his dreams. Feeling that Gwansik has been her pillar of strength since childhood, Aisun finally gives in to her feelings. She runs towards the harbor, but by the time she reaches there, the ship has already departed. Heartbroken, she shouts his name, hoping he will hear her. Just when it seems that Gwansik is gone forever, he hears her cries and sees her running towards him. In a dramatic moment, he jumps into the sea and swims back to shore. The villagers cheer for them, and the couple embraces, even though Gwansik's family does not approve. In the present time, Gwansik's sister tells Aisun's daughter that she was conceived on the very night that Aisun and Gwansik reunited. The episode then flashes back to the past, showing the young parents playing with their daughter, Gum Myong. Gum Myong narrates how her parents had her at a young age and had to give up their dreams. In the epilogue, it is revealed that Gwansik secretly visited a pawn shop to get a wedding ring for Aisun. The episode ends with the couple choosing their wedding attire and finally getting married. In episode 4, the story jumps a few years ahead, where Ae Soon is troubled by her difficult mother-in-law and father-in-law. Later, she helps her former stepfather's wife, now Min Ok, when she welcomes her first child. We learn that Min Ok married a very tall whiz in the clouds stepfather 10 years after, a very tall whiz in the clouds, a very tall whiz in the clouds. Over time, Min Ok calmed down and became the mother of Ae Soon's stepbrothers. When Ae Soon helps her, there's a silent understanding between them, suppressing the tension of their previous relationship. Ae Soon returns home with a gift for her family, including a tricycle given by Min Ok for Gin Myong. However, when she shares this with her mother-in-law's father-in-law, Gwan-sik's grandmother forbids Gin Myong from learning to ride it, saying that girls shouldn't learn. Later, when Ae Soon and Gwan-sik go to their room, Gwan-sik asks Ae Soon to be with her family. Ae Soon asks Gin Myong to learn to ride the tricycle. She fears that if Gin Myong is deprived of this opportunity, she will be restricted to the kitchen, as happened with Ae Soon. She expresses her deep desire for her daughter to experience the freedom she never had. The next day, Gwan-sik buys another tricycle, which is so expensive that his family will think twice before selling it for a few pieces of candy. A very tall man jeshes that Gin Myong has a tricycle that she can ride, which makes a very tall man jeshi soon happy. Then, in 1996, we reach the current timeline. As soon as Gin Myong tells her mother's story, we see her facing her challenges. She gets a job and meets her fiancé's mother, who is from an influential family. That woman looks down on Gin Myong for being from a poor background. Gin Myong tolerates humiliating remarks until her fiancé's mother gets married. After her fiancé's mother marries, she doesn't ask Gin Myong to leave the job. Recognizing the sacrifices made by her mother to ensure her freedom, Gin Myong remains stubborn and refuses to quit. Later, she firmly tells her fiancé that she is not eager to marry him. In the meantime, a very tall whiz in the town of Hampi are hoping for their second child when a very tall whiz in the town of Hampi is trying to make Gin Myong a hanyo, a female diver. In anger, Ae Soon confronts them. Ae Soon tells Gin Myong that Gin Myong is her daughter and she won't become a hanyo. She reminds Gwan-sik that his own mother suffered from illness due to working underwater for years. This causes him to speak sharply to his mother-in-law, who slaps him. Right at the same time, when Gwan-sik is about to catch a big fish, a very tall Ae Soon and Gin Myong can no longer tolerate his family's misbehavior, and he takes them and leaves the house. The family moves to a small rented room with a cook. Soon they find out that someone has secretly paid their 3-month rent, although they don't know who it is. Days pass and one evening Gwan-sik returns home with a broken finger. A Very Soon is very sad to see him injured, and later that night she sees more scars on his body. Worried, the next morning after sending him to work with a forced smile, she goes to Sangil's house. Sangil, the man Ae Soon was once supposed to marry, is keeping Gwan-sik working with a village woman and is abusing him. Ae Soon discovers that Sangil is mistreating him. Even when Gwan-sik's hand was injured, Sangil refused to turn the boat back, deliberately worsening his condition. Meanwhile, we once again see Sangil mistreating Gwan-sik. After the fishing shift, he isn't letting him go home. As soon as Sangil kicks Gwan-sik, Ae Soon runs and arrives at that moment, angrily announcing that Gwan-sik will no longer work for him. As they prepare to leave, Sangil scolds Gwan-sik, which finally causes Ae Soon to kick Sangil. The scene returns to 1996, where Ae Soon is shown helping Gwan-sik, whose leg has become impaired after years of hard work. The episode ends on this tragic note. Episode 7 begins with the arrival of the Olympics, due to which the authorities are ordered to remove local fish markets so that the Olympic route can pass through the sea. Since this hinders the survival of the fishermen, they oppose it. However, instead of standing with the people of the village, it takes the side of the official authorities, until it comes to an end and quietly lies on the road in opposition. All the activities of the Olympic Games are stopped due to its unfulfilled task. As the elections draw closer, Sangsil takes the initiative to attack Ae Soon. Through these attacks, we come to know that while Gin Myong is a talented student, his younger brother is completely the opposite. Ae Soon is called by her homeroom teacher, who complains that she is running small businesses in the school, which includes stealing and selling the letters from the nameplates on the teacher's cars. Meanwhile, Sangsil continues his campaign in Jeju, but is caught by Ae Soon and a Hanyo, massaging the feet of another woman. Taking advantage of the opportunity, she threatens to reveal his true nature, just as he was attacking her, so that he withdraws from the race. This makes it difficult for Ae Soon to become the first woman to become the village president, whom the people of the village love. Gwan-sik, who was quietly supporting her campaign, is very happy. That night, they all celebrate the festival. And later, Very Soon remembers her mother, and how she was very excited to hear very soon say that she would become the president one day. Meanwhile in Seoul, we find Gi Myung secretly giving tuition to students, even though he is not a licensed physician. We also find out that he had given up the opportunity to study in Japan due to his family's situation. During his class, his student's mother presents him with a shocking demand, asking him to leak a test for her ward, for which all necessary fake documents have been prepared. Gi Myung is surprised. Somewhere else, Gwon-sik learns that Gi Myung is not capable of staying in school when he suddenly comes to Seoul to meet him. While he is waiting for Gi Myung to return, Young Bom, who is on leave from military service, is also waiting for him. After a while, Young Bom finally recognizes Gwon-sik and introduces him as a friend of Gi Myung in a funny way. In the meantime, when Kim Jong-un refuses to cheat, his advisor charges him with stealing a fake diamond ring, and the episode ends. At the beginning of episode 8, Gum Myung reaches the police station. Since the tuition is illegal, she can't even keep the money she gets in exchange for teaching the child from that woman. On the other hand, when Gwon-sik asks Young Bom about his relationship with Gum Myung, we find out that their relationship is never ending, and Gum Myung has already rejected him 8 times. Gwon-sik also realizes how much Young Bom resembles him in his youth, while Gum Myung is almost the opposite of him. At the house of Gum Myung's servant, the maid who knew from the beginning that the woman was trying to frame Gum Myung intervenes. She threatens to throw the real diamond ring until the woman takes back her complaint. Finally, the woman agrees and we find out that the maid is the same woman who was saved by Gwon-sik and Ae Soon once in a guest house in Busan. Due to Gum Myung's resemblance to Ae Soon, the maid remembers her kindness and wants to repay her, even if it is for a stranger. However, Gum Myung is unaware of it. She is very stressed out from the fear that Ae Soon and Gwon-sik will find out about the police complaint against her. She calls Ae Soon home just to know that Gwon-sik is on his way to meet her from the beginning, because she has been awarded the Gumners Award for saving a life in the sea. When they meet, they have a strange dinner, during which Gum Myung finally lets go of all her disappointment. About being poor, about not being able to fulfill her dreams, and about losing those opportunities that she had, like the Japan Study Abroad program. When she finds out that he has come too far from his initial mission to meet her, she finally says goodbye to her father. After Gwon-sik leaves, Gum Myung says goodbye to Young Bom, crying. She has to return to her old place after her holiday. In the future, we see her at her wedding, crying, when Gwon-sik is preparing to take her to the hall. After returning to jail, Ae Soon and the students of Hinyo School run away to a poetry competition. At the competition, an auntie submits her poem. Meanwhile, in the same cafe where Abi Soon once met Sang-sil, we see her preparing to open a shop with the Henyo. At the same time, Gum Myung's teacher offers to fund her study abroad trip, and she informs Ae Soon. This leads to an argument, because Ae Soon insists on knowing if Gum Myung truly wants to go. Gum Myung's desire to study abroad forces Ae Soon and Gwon-sik to make a difficult decision. They decide to sell their house to raise money for her trip. That night, Ae Soon once again dreams of her mother, as if she has come to give her final farewell. In the dream, her mother comforts her, and Ae Soon also bids farewell to her deceased son. The family moves to Seoul. Just as Gum Myung departs for Japan, and Ae Soon is seen crying over the stack of money she saved for her. Episode 8 of When Life Gives You Tangerines ends with Ae Soon winning the poetry competition. However, the school fruitlessly. Episode 9 of When Life Gives You Tangerines begins with a shift in a small apartment in Ae Soon, Gwon-sik and Yoon Myung, because they had sold their house to help their daughter Gum Myung. After taking out her savings, Ae Soon becomes a street vendor again, having previously stopped to open a shop with her aunts and nephews. On the other hand, Gum Myung cries when she sees the picture in Japan, knowing that she has once again become the reason for her parents' hardship. Now when Gum Myung rents a room in Seoul, she tries to help her landlord's daughter hide her boyfriend in her room. But this attempt fails because the landlord finds her hidden in Gum Myung's storage bag. Similarly, a very tall Ben Jeshil, who lived in the town of Hampi, is hiding someone in her room, and she believes that he is the son of her acquaintance. But when Ae Soon and Gwon-sik enter her room, they find a girl hidden in her storage cupboard. This happens when we meet Boo Hyun-suk, who is the daughter of Sangil, whom Yoon Myung introduces as his girlfriend. In a way, Hyun-suk remembered that when she was a child, her mother once pointed to Ae Soon and said that she should marry a person like Ae Soon's husband. That's why she came to Yoon Myung and gave him her heart. In Seoul, despite studying in Japan, it is difficult for Gum Myung to find a job. That's when she meets Park Cheong-seop, who is the son of Park Cheong-seop. Park Cheong-seop had helped a man hide from his girlfriend's father. We know that Cheong-seop is an artist who works in a theater, but he is constantly scolded for not making posters that help sell tickets. Still, the owner of Dayalu Theatre does not fire him. Cheong-seop helps Gum Myung to get a job at the ticket counter. One day while working, Yong Byung comes to meet him, and they meet in an empty theatre room where Cheong-seop can see them from afar. After work, Yong Byung suggests that Gum Yong should leave that poor area where she is living. Feeling insulted, Gum Yong asks Yong Byung to leave. At the same time, Cheong Seop is passing by. He is listening to their conversation. There is a slight smile on his face. Next time, Gum Yong goes to Cheong Seop's office to deliver his lunch and sees all his paintings. Unfortunately, this happens at the same time when Cheong Seop and his girlfriend arrive. And his girlfriend again gives him a considerable amount of money as an artist. Cheong Seop scolds her for not earning enough money and belittles her. Then they find Gum Yong, who was trying to hide behind, which makes the situation even weirder, because the episode ends here. In the beginning of episode 10, Sang-sil is having a very bad relationship with his wife and family. We also see that Hyun-suk's brother scolds him for dating Yeon-myung, seeing the difficult past of Sang-sil and Ae-soon. But Hyun-suk is anyway stubborn to live with Yeon-myung. Immediately after this, Yeon-myung tries to break up with him because his brothers have made his life hell. But unfortunately, both the young lovers are not able to do this, which is very entertaining for the Haenyo aunts watching the drama from a distance. Meanwhile, Yeon-myung meets the mother of Yeon-myung, who gets Yeon-myung in her son's apartment on her birthday and behaves very badly with her. Later, when Yeon-myung is sitting next to Yeon-myung in the car, she breaks up, asks her why she is so lowly, while she is also as capable, and accepts that she cannot live like this anymore. The next day at work, Yeon-myung sees a woman outside who looks like she is selling tickets to the theater again. But as soon as Yeon-myung looks at her carefully, she really admires her and decides to follow her. It turns out that she is the mother of Cheong Seop, not any other woman. Yeon-myung quietly gives her a ticket for a show at the theater. Then the owner of the theater listens to her about how Cheong Seop liked to draw since childhood. Surprisingly, the owner comes in between and gives a lot of tickets. This shows that under his cold outer appearance, he is an incredibly kind person. Later, thanks to Yeon-myung, after watching his first film, Cheong Seop's mother, Yeon-myung, and Cheong Seop go to his small shop, where she gives Yeon-myung a bag full of English language books as a gift. After eating dinner at the restaurant in the night tent, Cheong Seop helps him take the books back to his room. Somewhere else, when Yeon-myung and his uncle's family are preparing for his parents' cremation, Yeon-myung remembers a terrible incident from his childhood, where he was walking around with a black dragonfly, which was a symbol of misfortune. That day, he met a strange woman at the bus stop, who asked Yeon-myung to get some money for her. After getting some money from Yeon-myung, the woman asked him to get more money. He gave her a coin. Yeon-myung went to a quiet road, where he found himself being kidnapped by a man waiting in a truck. But at that important moment, his mother suddenly appeared and saved him. His mother later said to him, "I have eyes behind my eyes too." Mothers need this when they leave money at the bus stop and go away, calling him unfortunate. We also know that the mother of Yeon-myung finally found out about that woman. It turned out that she was involved in selling children and making them beg. And with the help of the people of the city, she beat that woman and her companions. Later that night, Yeon-myung and Yeon-myung both have bad dreams about that storm, which killed the youngest child of Yeon-myung. The next morning, Soon-seul comes and finds Yeon-myung in a dangerous situation. Due to the smell of carbon monoxide from a hole in the wall, she immediately calls an ambulance and warns the family of the owner of the house. Cheong Seop, who is also there, takes Yeon-myung down the stairs as soon as the emergency services arrive. The beginning of episode 11 takes place in the hospital of Ae-soon and Chae-young-seop, where it is thankfully acknowledged that Gum-myung has been saved. During this time, Yong-byum comes to meet her, cries a lot, and during their conversation, Ae-soon notices how much she is getting along with Gwan-sik. A few seconds later, she notices that Yong-benum's mother may have given Gum-myung a difficult time, and she also does not accept her. Somewhere else, Yeon-myung gets to know about Sang-sik and his mother's past in a funny way. Immediately after this, we see her departing for her military service. Similarly, Gum-myung comes to know that Chae-young-seop had also gone for his military service. Despite being 29 years old, he looked older. He leaves a painting of his in his painting corner for that painting that he had once told him to make. We come to know that both of them had come a little closer while going home together. But Chae-young-seop and Gum-myung both had reached the most strange and shameful moments of each other's lives. Later, we see Gum-myung and Yong-balum's families eating together. We see Gum-myung's mother and father serving him to their in-laws. Until Ari soon manages to make ends meet, She apologizes, saying that she did not teach Gum Myung any household chores because she was his beloved daughter. As soon as her parents leave, Gum Myung knows that Soon cried. Later, Gum Myung requests her mother-in-law to be kind to her because she does not want her parents to be sad. The next time Gum Myung and Soon meet, they go with Yong Bentum's mother to buy a handbook together. Yong Beneving's mother forces Soon to wear a brown handbook instead of a pink one. Later, she directly asks Soon to break off the engagement due to racial discrimination between the families. A very tall man Jolly had to bend down to go through the door. A very tall man but asks her to break off her engagement. Later, when Gum Myung goes to live with her, after Yong Barum pressures her, her mother gets angry. Yong Bendanam accuses Gum Myung of deceiving her son. Gum Myung finally decides to end the engagement with a heartbroken Tipani because Yong Benum's mother has ruined her life. After many years, Yong Baumum and Gum Myung are happily married to different people, and her mother is also very unhappy with the behavior of her daughter-in-law. In the present, Gum Myung goes back home by taxi. Over many days and months, Yong Bailum and Gum Myung finally separate